What's up, Duke gang, Duke fans, Blue Devil Dive listeners, whatever you want to call yourself, all the above, I don't know. It's January 2nd. Duke is back. I'm back. We're back. Again, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, Duke had a 10-day or so break for the semester break, holidays, and all things of that nature. Came back with a game against Florida State, and what a game it was. It was one of the most back and forth games that you could possibly have. Duke wins 100-93, and we're all happy. But during the game, my emotions were all out of whack because you would think Duke has the momentum, then Florida State throws in 4 threes back to back to back to back, and you're like, what the fuck? Is this happening again? Is this Boston College 2.0 only at Cameron? What the fuck is happening? Seemed like another tale of the narrative that Duke gets everyone's best game. That's just what it feels like. And that's what it is. I mean, the proof is there. You see it. Florida plays Duke like a number 1 seed. And then Florida goes on to lose like 3 or 4 in a row against terrible teams. It's like Duke receives everyone's best game. Kofor, he hit 6 threes, 28 points, 6 rebounds, forward for Florida State. Angola put in some big points when it mattered, 23 to be exact, 8 rebounds. And then a few of their bench guys put in some key minutes, key buckets, key plays. And in the end, the firepower, kind of smoked out a little bit, and Duke took control, but it was really back and forth. And for Duke, it was pretty great game all around from most of the players. Trent's shot struggled a little, not too worried about that. Shooters are going to keep shooting, just don't lose confidence, keep trying to improve defense, keep trying to improve all the other areas, and the shots will fall. But I think O'Connell could have snagged a few more minutes. I think he deserves it, and I think that would improve the team's overall three-point percentage a little bit if he did. He also makes other very smart plays. He does great things all around. Of course, he's a freshman. He's going to improve tremendously over the course of the year and his career, but he deserved more minutes than 9, I believe, and I believe you could have gave him a few more because Grayson played 40, Trent played 37, and a lot of people were in foul trouble fairly early. No one fouled out, but Florida State was flopping like hell. It looked like James Harden, Chris Paul, and LeBron out there just flopping their ass off, and it was working. So I guess if it works, do it, but it was getting highly annoying. For everyone that says Grayson Allen, all he does is flop and shit, I mean, did you watch the game? It was ridiculous. Bagley even received a flagrant for somebody flopping around. I was just like, oh my God, here we go. We're going to 0-2 in the ACC with one of the most talented teams of all time at Duke. It's raw talent and it's young talent, but it's still a fact. So, with that being said, there was a few narratives to take away from the game, and I think one of them is Marvin Bagley is a unicorn. This has been known, and this has been the case for a while, and he's proven it plenty of times. But 32 points, 21 rebounds on 17 shots. What more can you ask for? Well, you could ask for a few more made free throws. He might have had 50. But, that's going to improve. And it seems like in crunch time, he kind of bears down and hits them at a higher percentage. His overall percentage probably won't show that, but he does. The only thing is, I think a lot of people would agree he might have not even got the ball enough. He took 17 shots, and granted he got fouled on some, so they didn't count, but I'm down for him taking 25 shots, 28 shots, to be honest. Get him the ball as soon as possible and then run the offense through that and see what happens. That's my opinion. I think a lot of people would agree, especially on a team who shot 26% from three. I mean, just get the ball to him, get it to Carter, and let's go from there. If they want to double that, then work on everything else. But that opens new holes. I've said that 100 times. I'll continue to say it. Carter Jr., 14 points, 16 rebounds. His numbers don't always reflect how much he means to the team. He had 7 offensive rebounds, and he's just a monster. When he comes down with those rebounds, goes up for the dunk, I mean, that electrifies Cameron and gets everybody hype, and it keeps us in the game when Duke's down 6 and they throw up a 3 that's a brick, and he comes down with it, and you still come off with 2 points. I think they missed 44 shots. I think they had 23 offensive rebounds off of that. That's gigantic. It's something that we haven't had in the past. And, I mean, it just means so much for the team in the long run, especially when it's a team who doesn't shoot great from 3, as I said. So he got in foul trouble, but he stuck it out, and he continued to do his thing, and that was huge, alongside Bagley, of course. Grayson, 22 points, played 40 minutes, 6 assists, which is big. His shot wasn't outstanding, but those 22 points are huge. His presence on the court, the way he was getting everyone together, that's huge. So, not an A++ game from him, but he was very much needed. So, again, I think he could have set 3 or 4 minutes, spelled him for 3 or 4 minutes, and, gave that to O'Connell or Delorier or Goldwire even. Goldwire, he puts in good minutes in my opinion too. The announcer was saying how Florida State is so fucking deep and Duke doesn't have a bench. I was like, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about, I guess, because they do have a bench. As deep as Vrankovic. You just don't see him too much, which I hope down the stretch you do a little more, just because you have to find a few minutes to have everybody fresh at the end. You don't want to have South Carolina 2.0 and Duke be tired as hell, gasping for air, looking like a bunch of kids and getting their ass kicked. They're bigger this year, and that may help a little bit, but still, you have to find a few minutes here and there. Which he is from a sense, but even Coach K said, I have to run Bagley. I have to run O'Connell a few more minutes because he was doing good and he should have got a few more of those bench minutes. And he said that's something he'll go back and look at and improve on. Towards the end of the game, one of the biggest narratives was Trayvon Duval. They were sagging off of him. Florida State wanted him to take a 3. Their best possible shot that they could have forced was a Trayvon Duval 3, in their opinion. That's why they played so far off of him, dared him to take it. They'd rather him do that than Grayson or Gary Trent or a Bagley layup or a Carter dunk. So they sagged off, he took it, and he hit it. That was huge. That turned the game around right there. Completely flipped the game. Because then he had just some insane drives in transition, some Kyrie Irving moves, finished around the rim like it was his, nobody could stop him, frailing his body around whichever way he had to make the shot, and that 3 started it. And I'm sure when he threw it up, even he was like, but he took it with confidence, you could tell. And when he hit it, his confidence multiplied by 20. And I think everybody that's a Duke fan was holding their breath when he threw that up too, because the Boston College game was fairly similar. And there was a few mental errors, and it didn't cost Duke the game. The whole game plan not being executed sort of cost Duke the game. And, that's just mixed with Boston College playing out of their mind, a shooting performance that'll probably never be duplicated for the rest of the year by them. And if they played 10 more times, I don't think they would stand a chance, but it doesn't matter at this point. But again, it was starting to feel like, oh, here's the same situation. 0-2 in the ACC. They shot lights out even at Cameron, and it is what it is. But, you know, that's not what happened because Duval hit that three, and then he went on to make some gigantic, huge plays late in the game that helped Duke pull away when they got a few defensive stops. And they weren't necessarily defensive stops. It was just Florida State was throwing up a bunch of bullshit like they were all game. And a couple possessions in a row, it didn't go in finally. And Duke executed. So that was the difference in the game towards the end. But again, coming off that Boston College game where it didn't go their way and Duval made a few mental mistakes towards the end, to do what he just did in that Florida State game and basically close it out, that was gigantic. It helped seal the deal. It was a huge win, and that was a huge performance by him late in the game. So that's nothing but good. It's nothing but a great confidence builder. And for him and the whole team and Duke fans, and moving forward, that may take a huge effect into the team, which is if he missed that and made a few turnovers 2 games in a row, your confidence can really drop. You've seen it happen to players, and you don't want that from your starting point guard. You never want his confidence to drop. So that was huge to me. Other than that, I think get Bagley the ball as much as possible. Limit turnovers. Rebound just with the ferociousness that this team is capable of. Find a few bench minutes for O'Connell and Delorier and whoever else. And continue to improve on defense. As they said, Gary Trent said, we have to talk more on defense. We have to be more vocal. We have to play defense as a cohesive unit. And they definitely need to improve on that. So that's what I got for the Florida State game. It was a good one, and it was crazy back and forth. Again, I said I don't like afternoon games. A lot of people agreed. I like night games for watching and for how they usually play. But that was a great win, and Florida State's going to play UNC, and it's at Florida State. That's on Wednesday, I think. So I'm kind of pulling for Florida State in that one. If I don't think you can blame me. Carolina should have lost to Wake the same Saturday, but you know they pulled out a sketchy one as usual. It seems to be what they always do. After this game, Duke and Duke fans learned Jordan Tucker will be transferring. A lot of mixed thoughts about this from a lot of people on social media, but all in all, you just have to let people do what they want to do. You hating on them or you agreeing with them, whatever it is, it's not going to change how they feel, in my opinion. So, you know, he committed. He didn't even dress out for a lot of them, and some people are saying, oh, that's what you get for committing so quick. Shut the fuck up. You don't know. Knox didn't commit, and they have been recruiting Tucker for a while. So he had just as good a chance to earn the minutes that O'Connell was getting, and he didn't. That's what happened. If he stayed another year, he might be a huge piece next year or his junior year or his senior year. Maybe he wanted to make an impact right now, and he didn't think he was going to be able to, so he wants to go somewhere else. Either way, it happens. And you being a fuckhead about it, it's not going to change his mind. It's not going to make anybody feel any better. You just have to wish everybody the best no matter what happens. So, I mean, best of luck either way. It may work out better. It may work out worse than it would have if he would have stayed at Duke. You're never going to know. I wish he would have stayed. I like the dude. He's definitely got a good-ass shot, and he's a cool dude. We met him a couple times, and, you know, he's a cool dude. So, wish him the best either way. It kind of sucks. I do like the thought of him staying, but that's not going to happen, and you just have to wish him the best, you know. So, best of luck to Jordan Tucker. He will be transferring. And that's that. So the bench gets a little shorter. I don't know. Everybody's asking me why he didn't dress out, why he didn't get minutes. I don't have a clue. I'm sure academics or practice or game flow or whatever it is could determine that, but I have no idea. So I guess O'Connell, in the role that they need, looked better and was better. And that's why they went with him from the scarce bench minutes that they do give. That was a big part of the news. And you could see he was loving the support from the people who was supporting the decision or just not being a hater about it. So that was cool. And then, of course, this Saturday, the 6th, on ESPN, 8 p.m., Duke will be traveling to NC State to play a shaky NC State team that you never know what the fuck you're going to get with them. You might get one hell of a game. You might get Duke just absolutely murdering them. That's what they should do. But Duke's track record at PNC Arena, at NC State, it's a little wishy-washy. Sometimes their fans are hostile. They do get into the game. They do go crazy. And Duke's track record in the past few years hasn't been great there. I still remember the C.J. Leslie games, the Cat Barber games, a couple of their players that I did not like, where they went in there and Duke should have won, and it just didn't work out for them. So they looked, they didn't live up to potential when they traveled to NC State. And certain times they have. I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. beat Duke at Duke last year. That shouldn't have happened, but it did. So you always got to be kind of wary about these type of games. It's going to be tough, most likely, and the away fan base, the student section is pretty wild as well. So it's going to be tough. Nothing's easy in the ACC. That's a fact. I mean, Wake almost beat UNC. Boston College beat Duke. UNC lost to Wofford, by the way. I don't know if I said that on one of these episodes. I don't think I've been on since then. What the fuck is a Wofford? I have to enjoy it because the amount of shit they give Duke when Duke loses to Boston College or South Carolina or whoever it is. They lost to Wofford at UNC. That's hilarious. I enjoyed it. It was amazing. But anyways, enough of that. It was hilarious, though. I know everyone listening to this thoroughly enjoyed that. It was so funny to watch this white dude torch their whole team the whole game and then be like, yeah, I learned how to torch UNC because I watched a lot of J.J. Redick film. I was like, savage. You are a savage. But again, 8 p.m., NC State, Duke. Hopefully we get Duke by 20. What should we expect? A tough game, probably. You never know if NC State's going to show up looking like a good team or show up looking like a team of just pure idiots. So, honestly, the same for Duke. They might play a terrible first half and be down by 15 and then come back and win or whatever it is. It's the ACC. And like we said, every single team seems to give Duke their best game. Certainly makes for interesting conference games whenever a team is ass but still plays like, a potential championship contender against Duke. So expect a huge game from Bagley and, a few other people to make some noise and hopefully an all-around extremely well game just from everyone. That's all I can ask for, especially on the defensive end. Just become a good defensive unit and I'll be so happy. But, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and it's a long way to go in the season, so we'll see what happens. Be back to talk after that. And hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas and holidays and New Year's. I know we had a great time and enjoyed some Duke basketball and some football. That bowl game last night was insane. Baker Mayfield. I think it was double overtime. So, been enjoying the sports lately. NFL playoffs are about to take off. And I'm glad the whole holiday and New Year's, I enjoyed it a lot, but I'm glad it's passed. Don't have to worry about it for another year. And I think a lot of people feel the same. So I appreciate everyone listening, everyone on Twitter. Appreciate the love, the feedback. It means a lot. Let's hope Duke grabs this win on Saturday. I was thinking about going to the game, but I really just like turning up at my house, just acting stupid and eating some cookout or Chick-fil-A or whatever it is. And if anyone's near Burlington or Elon or Greensboro, feel free to come on over and turn up. So, yeah, I will be back probably after the NC State game. After that, have a 4-day break, and then they play Pitt at Pittsburgh. So, another potential tough game, even though Pitt is terrible. And then it will be Wake at Duke 3 days after that. And then 2 days after that, they travel to Miami for an extremely tough game. Wouldn't be surprised if Duke is somewhat of an underdog in that game. So, a lot to talk about in the coming week or two, and I'm looking forward to it. Be back soon. Happy New Year. And until, I guess, Saturday or Sunday, I'm out.